long time ago.
I want to I want to lead by example. I think I lead by example a lot, but in this moment particularly, I want to remind everyone that this business is about we say God, family, and then business, right? So I want to make sure I'm a good role model for that, right? This business is not just about slinging houses 24/7. It is about building a business that finances whatever you want in your world outside of business. Make sense?
Absolutely.
All right. Who wants to tell me some good news? I just want to check on Candace real fast because she was going to run the session this morning. Hang on just 2 seconds. Who wants to tell me some good news today?
I have my second session of Ignite, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice. What did you think about the first session?
It was very motivating. I don't know, just kind of like really like get yourself in started, and I just felt really good about it.
Awesome. 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 Let me actually, anyone else want to share any good news?
I just wanted to say that I've got my sign going up.
Amazing. I love it when you guys fight over who's going to talk first.
Sorry, go ahead.
Drew,
I was going to say I got my sign going up in my East Cobb property on Sunday for coming soon. We're really excited about that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Good job. When's it going to be listed?
Probably about 2 weeks. Well, I think it'll go live probably a few days after that. I'll get it actually in, but the day that we'll be accepting, official, I think it's going to be 2 weeks from then. He still has a few more things to do inside, but the outside, the painter should be finished Friday or Saturday. So he wants the sign in the yard Sunday.
Awesome. Awesome. I would just, I could give you a whole diatribe on coming soon, but I just want to make one note on it, which is the only issue with coming soon is that you potentially risk not getting full market exposure until it is officially listed, right? And therefore, if you get offers, it's hard to confirm that that's the best you can get. So I might add, if you're doing coming soon, like in FMLS or whatever, just add a note that says, all offers will be considered, within 3 days of official listing, something like that, where, for example, if somebody gives you an offer ahead of time and it's the list price and your seller doesn't want to take it, right? I mean, there's all kinds of issues that could happen there.
Yeah, see.
Right. Particularly, I mean, like it could get really hairy. I mean, it could be like, hey, I'm a minority and you said it was available for 500. I gave you 500 and you don't want to acknowledge it. I mean, you got all kinds of hassles that could come. So coming soon, I'm not even that big of a fan of coming soons, to be honest, but you just got to be aware of some of that stuff. Okay.
Okay. That's just going to give me an opportunity to go knock on everybody's door.
100%. 100%. We earn the listing and therefore we earn everything we receive because we have the listing.
That's right.
Right. This is what does Gary call it in MREA? He's like, this is like the manna from heaven, right? Listings are like the God's food, right? And once we have listings, we get to do everything. We get to go tell the world we have listings, and we can update people on when it goes under contract and when it goes closing and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
All right, I want to share, congratulations, sir, congratulations. I want to share actually two different topics that Liz and I were talking about this morning. The first, I'll explain. The second, I'm going to have Liz explain. The first is she has a listing now that is under contract. The home was listed. It went under contract very quickly. As is pretty typical right now, you have buyers that, maybe no inspection, no appraisal contingency. The buyer was willing to make up the appraisal gap. So for those that don't know, that's when the buyer is willing to pay a certain amount of money beyond the appraisal value, which oftentimes is above fair market value or at least the list price, right? And what ended up happening is Liz asked a great question, which is, hey, there ain't much for me to do right now as a listing agent. And she said, how frequently should I be updating the seller, or what should I be updating the seller with? And I said, okay, well, you got to, let's review a couple things here. The first is, if you communicate once a week, yet the seller wants an update every other day, you're not in alignment. There might be sellers that don't care about any updates. They just trust that you're getting it done and that you'll call them if there's an issue. And there's other sellers that are super nervous. And so the best way to approach the style of communication and the frequency of communication is just to ask, right? Hey, it's going to feel like there's not a lot going on right now, but I want to let you know that I just got off the phone with the attorney. The title's going great. The HOA is going great. We're pulling all your records for your current loan so we can pay it off properly at closing. I've been speaking to the buyer's lender and the buyer's agent, and everything is moving smoothly there. I just want to let you know that things are looking great. Do you have any questions right now? Do you have any concerns right now? When would you like the next update, right? So you are meeting and or exceeding their expectations, and we're not just like kind of coming up with this idea of what we think is appropriate communication, right? Because if I want to be communicated with every hour on the hour, and because of my relationship with you, you're going to make 15 grand, you better figure out a way for that to happen. Make sense? Okay, Liz, can you explain the first thing we talked about earlier, please?
Yes. So I got on the call with Bill this morning, and what I've been doing is kind of basically estimating how many contacts I've had a week. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of got a rolling number in my head, and I'm just estimating my contacts. And I've been focusing much more on that this week because of something Bill said. I've been concentrating on getting signatures and getting contracts instead of forgetting that and concentrating on my database and my number of contacts and concentrating on that. So I've been doing that this week. And what I've realized is I was way off. Like my contacts aren't nearly what I was thinking they were as I was doing that rolling total in my head. And I have got to find another way to make more contacts. And Bill and I were talking about that because I'm supposed to be making, 65 contacts a week, and I'm not anywhere near that. And I wasn't that in my estimate, but I'm really not even close to that. I've got to find a new way of doing things.
Right. And so what did we discuss? We basically said that, by the way, Liz is working the DTD2 system, yeah, which, as we've described in our weekly email, is a system where, where you pick 2 letters out of the alphabet each week. Those are determined for you, and I write those on the email every single week. Okay, and then you call everyone in your database whose last name starts with that letter, right? So if it's S, then you call all the Stevens and all the Smiths and all that stuff, right? So what that does is it avoids call reluctance, where you say, oh, that person and I, haven't spoken in a year. I don't really want to call them. When you commit to this plan, you say, hey, I call them because that's what I do. Like, that's the system I'm running. That's the plan I'm running. When you do that, you determine, or you will speak to everyone in your database every quarter. Every quarter, okay? Now, does anyone know what the DTD2 is this week?
AWN.
Nope. That was last week.
Calendar. I'm a week off then.
It's P as in Paul.
PLV.
What?
P, V, and L.
That's right. P. You call P's and L's and you text V's. Now, can I give everyone a little stab in the front? Did anyone see what I wrote next to that this week on the email?
You give extra points.
That's right. I said, if you tell me, you send me a WhatsApp with what I just told you, P's, L's, and V's, I'll give you an extra 5 points for the contest. Do you know how many people wrote me? 0. So what does that mean, guys? Does that mean you're not reading the emails?
I did not read the email this week. Sorry.
Okay. Anyone else want to come clean?
I didn't read that far down anyway.
That far down. What if I gave you the name and number of $1 million buyer?
Then I would have missed that. And that
Yes,
would have
you
I
been
would have been mad that I didn't read the email.
That's right. Okay, guys, read the email. I'm spending like an hour writing that thing every Sunday. I'd much prefer to do something different, honestly. Okay.
And I do appreciate that.
Can
I
you guys
do
commit to
appreciate it.
3 minutes of reading the email? Okay, thank you. All right, Candace,
Yes.
I've played bad guy all day. You go ahead and play good guy.
Everybody, you're all wonderful. You're doing everything just right. I'm, I'm just messing with you, Bill.
Don't lie to me.
I so appreciate Bill's candor and his honesty, because I know the heart behind that is to see all of you so successful. So anything Bill says, I back up, and anything I say, I hope Bill backs up. But anyway, so thank you. So for those of you who are on lunch on Friday, this is going to be a bit of a repeat. We're going to talk about the 10 habits for success. I'm hoping I can say something a little different so it'll be valuable for you too, Donna. I think you were on there, right? So anyway, the thing is that what we know is that habits are what drives success. We can have goals all day long and think about them and review them, but if our habits don't support them, we will be in the same place next year as we are this year, dreaming about having that, whatever it is, that investment home, that, you know, lifestyle. So what I did was I researched the habits of top performers, and there's, oh my goodness, so many habits out there you can have, but I compiled it down to the 10 that I thought were the most valuable and the ones that everyone can implement. So the very first thing I'd say is you have to know yourself. You're unique, and your habits should support you and your goals. So these habits that I'm giving you are suggestions. I hope you can incorporate them, but know yourself. If there's a habit that you know is going to propel you faster or better, do that habit. But what top agents do is the habit number 1 is to plan. And top agents make every action deliberate. They know what they're going to do during their day. I mean, if you talk to Dustin, he is just absolutely focused, hyper laser focused, and he knows exactly what he's going to do for the day. There's no sitting around, you know, wondering, you know, fiddling on his desk to straighten things out. There's none of that. So you want to start with, we're so, and I said this on Friday, we're so lucky at Keller Williams because this particular habit we've got handled with the tools that we have. So you want to start with an annual goal and work backward, and that's our GPS. One goal, 3 priorities, and 5 strategies. And if you have questions about that, if you're new on here, please get with Bill or me, and either one of us will be glad to help you with that. How many contacts, appointments, and people in a pipeline are needed to meet my goals? Great topic, Liz and Bill, this morning. That's our MREA economic model, so that we know exactly how many contacts we need to make each week. And now we're digging down deep to see how we can actually do that. Then we get more narrow. What aspects of my business do I need to strengthen this month? And break it down annually into monthly. And that's our 411. So then we keep going. What are my priorities for today? And that's our master daily tracking for success. And thank you, Donna, for giving us an elevated version of that. Habit number 1 is to plan. Habit number 2 is you're not alone. So schedule time to work together to fill in the gaps. If you're new and you're trying to do everything on your own, it can be extremely overwhelming. But if you get together with somebody to work on your listing presentations, one person can sit there and say, oh, I figured this part out. The other one could be like, oh yeah, no, I figured this part out. And you'll make progress faster. And if you need to convert more sales, develop a lead capture strategy, door knock together, farm together. Even if you split 50-50, you'll still get to where you need to be faster. You can also work on your social media strategies together. Maybe you develop one content and 2 other people develop 2 other contents, and then you kind of tweak them and make them yours, but you're all posting to different people. So just know that you can team up. Habit number 3 is you want a time block. This is probably, besides planning, probably one of the most important habits that you can develop. Every Sunday evening, plan your calendar for the week. Know what you want to do for the next week. And start with your time off. That's the most important thing, because one thing that can happen in real estate is we're never finished. There's always 50 more things to do. And if you don't schedule your time off, it's easy to burn out after a while. So we don't want that to happen.
Oh, it will happen.
It will
You
happen.
will burn out. Back.
And
100%.
burnout can take years to come back from. It's not like, oh, I'm burned out for the day. It's significant. So time off. Daily events are ongoing and repeated, so you really only have to add what's unique to the week. So if you're taking a class like this week, today, Bill and I are in coaching skills. Tomorrow's bold, right? So those are things you're going to schedule in. You want to make sure your repeatable things are things like your lead gen when you're doing your DTD2s, and those are specific times. And I just want to say a little thing about that is, we schedule it from 9 to 11 because we want to get it out of the way. But if you're somebody whose energy really peaks in the afternoon, schedule it from 2 to 3. But keep in mind that there are better times to reach people than others. Saturday morning is one of the best times to reach people. So I know we lead gen Monday through Friday, but Saturday is a great time to reach people too.
Just a quick add to that is, I think we've mentioned this a few weeks ago, is let's say you've got a school teacher in your database, or you've got a nurse in your database, you got a judge or a doctor or something like that in your database. Like, you could literally try to call them every day for the rest of your life from 9 to 11, and they're not going to answer the phone. Right? Because they're committed, they're tied up, right? So adding a nighttime, hour or so, maybe once a week, maybe every Wednesday we make calls from 5 to 6 or 5:30 to 6:30 or something like that. That gives you a chance to hit the people that, based on their job, are just completely unavailable in the morning.
I love that. Thank you. So schedule time each day for lead generation and learning. Those are the two things Bill talks about all the time. We need to, grow the database, grow the pipeline, and we need to learn. Anything you want to add to that, Bill?
No, I will say one thing, which is, this is something I learned from Ben Kinney, who's the #1 agent in all of KW. He said, oftentimes agents will overcomplicate their business as a justification for inaction, right? So they will try to make these, like, they'll try to make everything just more complex than it needs to be. Guys, if you talk to a certain number of people every day and you learn every day, you will eclipse 99% of real estate agents. Okay, it's simple, it's just not easy. Okay, it's simple. You don't have to complicate it. You just got to go have conversations with people. That's it.
Yeah, and I would say that a lot of if you do those two things, a lot of the other things that you have to do will fall away because you can leverage them out.
Right.
So you don't have
because you'll have the money to pay the leverage.
Exactly. So you want to schedule quarterly review. So you schedule your time each day for lead generation and learning, and then you want to make sure that you schedule quarterly reviews of your business, so that you can look at your numbers. It's also a good time to talk to your CPA about estimated taxes. And that quarterly review of your business, that's such an important piece as well, because you can't know where you let's put it this way. It's important to know your numbers. Your numbers will reveal a lot. That's my saying. Your numbers always reveal the truth. So if your numbers aren't what they need to be, then you need to step up the second quarter. You need to step up the third quarter, the fourth quarter, whatever it is, wherever you are reviewing. The next quarter needs to really catch up. And if you're on track, then great.
If I could add to that, not to change what you just said, but for many of us, where we have relatively, kind of infant businesses, if you will, like our businesses are in like infinite or
Infancy.
Yes. What am I trying to say? You probably need to review it even more often, right? Just like Liz suggested, it's kind of like saying, well, I feel healthy, you know, I'm not having any chest pains or I'm not like limping around, so I feel healthy. But then you go to the doctor and you're like, hey, you got to lose 40 pounds and your blood pressure is off and your cholesterol's off. And like, you don't know that stuff until you take account of it, right? Until you allow there to be a metric about it. And that
Kind of
would
a
be-
diagnostic.
Right. So if you look at your numbers and you say, hey, I seem to be hitting my contact goals, but I'm not hitting my appointment goals. Okay, that's a coaching moment. I can only identify that, and Candace can only identify that if we announce what our metrics are, right? Hey, we need to work on our scripts, or we need to work on our confidence, or we need to work on how many dials we make, or whatever it may be, right? Our closings for the appointments, right? Go ahead, sorry.
No, please keep going because you're adding value, always valuable. And I just want to say that in addition to doing your quarterly review, when you're doing some sort of a marketing campaign, it's important to review those. And so, for instance, I've committed to doing 250 letters outgoing each month. And so I know exactly what it costs me to buy all of my stamps. I know exactly what it cost me to buy all of my envelopes. I know what it's costing me for the person. I reached out to people in my database and said, does anyone have a college student or know of a college student who would like to make some extra money? One of my past clients said, my daughter's home from college. She's an engineering and calculus degree, but she'd love to do this. And her important thing was, is it ongoing? And I said, yes, it'll be every month. So she knows that she's going to earn about $60 every month. And I wanted her to be invested because she's smart. And I know this is going to be boring. I wanted her to be invested. So I wanted to make sure she got the right names and the right envelopes. So Mr. and Mrs. James weren't getting Mr. and Mrs. Jones letter. And so I told her, I said, for every listing that I take that closes, there'll be $100 bonus for you. And she was so excited by that. So, but I'll track that and see if I'm getting listings from that. You
Right.
know, Bill, dropping at the bits.
That's awesome. And I've got to assume that at least a tiny bit of this initiative and all the follow through that you're using for this initiative is because you have an accountability relationship with your coach who looks at your 411 every week and says, are you on track or are you not on track, right? Now, the other thing I want to point out here is that was a touch to Candace's database. So when Candace says, hey, I've got an opportunity here, right, for somebody to help me in my business, what does that, beyond the fact that you just became top of mind again because you touched your network, what does that tell the network? It tells the network that Candace is successful, that she's making things happen, that she has opportunity, that she's helping a lot of families and she can't do it all on her own and she's a business owner, right? So there's a lot of subtleties that are being revealed there just by simply asking for help. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the accountability is a part of that because it's on my 411 that Bill sees. And so I know I better get it done. And you know, it's easier. How do I talk about accountability? I'll do something all day long for somebody else before I'll do it for myself. I don't know what that is, but I can negotiate for you harder than I can negotiate for myself. And so the accountability kind of fills in that piece. So anyway, I'm getting it done. So start small and grow. When you're new, you cannot know everything. And I think the tendency is I've got to get all this information before I can go out and do anything. But take a path of becoming good at one thing. And I'm going to just shout out to those of you who have mastered Vulcan. Heather's one of those I know. Door knocking, Greta is really good at. Each of you has something that you've been working on that you're good at. So just try enough things so that you know what you like, but focus on one thing, become really good at it. It's just like I tell that story that I heard in one of the coaching calls where one of the rookies of the year who now has a multi-million-dollar business, he focused on open houses and he became the king of open houses. And he wasn't doing his own open houses at first, but now they're like big events. He does bouncy houses and he does barbecues and he just makes it an event. So everybody wants to list with him because they want that open house. And they want their neighbors to know that they've got this fantastic agent who's doing these fantastic things. Then you can expand. Another thing to do is to get focused on a neighborhood, learn a neighborhood, drive the neighborhood. research the neighborhood. You can do things like, let's look at, I'm going to share my screen, Bill, if that's all
Oh,
right.
hey, hang on. Let me give you permission to do that. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So it's as simple as if I want to know a community, and I'm going to borrow the one that Michelle works on a lot. But if I want to learn a community, I just type in the name of the community. Not every community is this big, but a lot of times on realtors' websites you can find information about communities. So I might find out about amenities. I might find out about the homeowners that sometimes, and also for those of you who are working with buyers, sometimes you can get your hands on the covenants and restrictions, also known as the CC&Rs, by going to the website of either the HOA or the community. If I put in
I'll add one thing while you're looking that up. Is let's say that you have a buyer prospect, and that buyer prospect wants to look at, let's say, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos in Buckhead, and they have a budget of, let's say, 400,000, right? And let's just pretend for a second that they want to do something late summer, okay? So what can you do ahead of time to prepare, right? There's probably only a handful of communities in Buckhead that meet that criteria. So why don't you go and check them out, right? Why don't you go see which ones are on what floor, and you go meet the concierge, so when you come in the next time, the concierge is like, hey, Bill, how you doing? How's that going to feel? Is that let's say that's one route, right? I go in, I walk in the building, and the concierge is like, hey, Bill, how you doing today? Good to see you again, right? And what does the buyer that I'm standing there next to think? They're like, wow, this guy's pretty well connected. How does that differ from me walking up to the concierge and say, hey, I'm Bill Linkwald with Keller Williams, and they're like, hey, do you have a business card? And I'm like, oh man, I forgot it. Let me go out to the car and get it. Hey, by the way, where's the gym? Where's the swimming pool? And they're like, oh, the swimming pool's on the 6th floor. And they're like, the buyer's like, has this guy ever been here before? Right? So remember, you're being watched, right? So you can either impress them with your relationships and your knowledge, or you can fall flat because you're unprepared.
and I would also add, take the concierge a little present, just a little gift, a Starbucks gift card, something like that. Just they'll remember that. And the same with I was showing condos down in Buckhead a lot. I had a high price point client, and I was showing down at the Charles, and then I forgot the other one. It's residences at the Ritz. And I had after showing there like 3 to 5 times, I didn't even have to really check in. It was great. I mean, it was impressive. And to be in a in a luxury condominium and know your way around, that was pretty fun. But you can also see this. I'm on somebody else's website, and they're wanting to specialize in Windward, so I can find out a whole bunch about Windward. I can find out that the lake is a 185-acre private lake. I know that it's an electric lake. So anyway, just be resourceful when you're. One of the things that I've learned is that before you go on a listing appointment, before you go with a buyer, if at all possible, do some research about where the community that you're going to, because they'll certainly know everything. And just in case they ask you, or you can also demonstrate your knowledge a little bit, right? You don't want to be like, oh, I know everything about your community, but I can certainly go in and say, oh, I understand Lake Windward has a 195-acre lake, or Martin's Landing. I understand that Martin's Landing has homes built in the 70s, and it's 1,030 acres. Doesn't take but a minute to become an expert about a neighborhood. Another site that I wanted to share with you is.
Yeah, God forbid let's say they play a lot of tennis, and they're like, hey, while we're here, can you swing by and show us the tennis courts?
Right.
And you're like, how do I get to the tennis courts?
Exactly. So another site that you can use is Neighborhood Scout. Now, if you type in, like I typed in Roswell, Georgia, so this is going to give me an overview of Roswell. If I type in an address, it's a subscription based, just so you know. So I can't necessarily look up a home, but I could certainly look up an area, a city, Roswell. And this is important to know too. These are some of the highest appreciating neighborhoods in Roswell. Might be important for your buyers to know. Go ahead.
I love that.
Yeah. Another one is school. My thing is, my share is over it. School. Let's see if I can get here. Yep, School Digger. There we go. So
Go ahead and share one more time.
okay. School Digger is another site where you can get a lot of demographics. I've always used this when people ask me the questions that we can't answer. I'll send them to a school site because they can get a whole breakdown. So let me put in.
So an example of a question that we're not to answer is things like, how many white people live in this neighborhood, or what percentage of people are, Asian or whatever, right? We even if we know the answer to that, we're not supposed to say that. Those people need to do their own research. This is a great place to do that research.
Exactly. Let me look in. Sorry, my other screen's blocking. Okay, here we go. Cambridge. I'll put in Cambridge. There we go. Cambridge High School, Milton. So it comes up, and this tells me, I mean, there it is right there. But it also tells me, more importantly, this is 21st of 438 Georgia schools. I can see how many people are on the free or discounted lunch program. I can tell where it is, the student to teacher ratio, the number of students. So this is a really good site for your knowledge of like learning schools, because if you're working with buyers where schools are important, you can certainly rattle off. Well, Cambridge High School is 21st of 438 schools. They're a 5-star school. They've got 2,000, a little bit more than 2,000 students. So, and you make your cheat sheets on these, and after a while of repeating them, if you're working in the same area, you'll get to know them. Another site is greatschools.org.
Mm-hmm.
Similar kind of thing. And you can find a great school for you can do all this. There's a lot of different, each website has a lot of different information on it. So I'd say if you have a downtime, play with it a little bit, just go around it again. And then also I wanted to show you Remind for market stats for your daily success tracking list. You just log into Matrix and you go to, log into FMLS, and you just go to Remind. And hello. Right here, if you scroll down, you can get the market pulse. Can everybody see that? I can filter it for a zip code. So if I want to put in 30076, it'll come up. I can put in how many days. If I want to just look at like the last 7 days, today, yesterday, the last 30 days, I can filter that. So this is a really good place to get that information for your market stats. And also the absorption rate, meaning 8 days. And I'm just going to quickly show you this absorption reports. This is going to help you as well.
And while you're looking for that, I'll add a thought is, let's say that you want to be the Milton agent, right? It wouldn't be crazy for you to do like kind of an informative video on the high schools, the middle schools, the elementary schools in that market, right? Hey, I'm here to share some information about Cambridge High School today, right? Here are some stats on Cambridge High School. They just received this award. They have this particular AP class or whatever, right? We are trying to we're trying to make it easy for our consumers, right? So if we can take all the information that is everywhere it is and condense it into something that is easy and clear to understand, then we become more valuable to our people.
I love that idea. That's a great social media touch or a video text. So all I did was I went to FMLS, I went to reports up across the top, and I went to absorption analysis report. This is one of my favorite ones. So I'm going to put in, let's put it, I like to put in a high school district if I'm working on a particular community. And I'll share with you how I use this. When I do a listing report, when I do a listing appointment, I print out the absorption report because I want to set the expectation of what the statistics tell us. So let me look up right down here, Milton.
So let me explain absorption real fast so everyone is clear on that. An absorption rate is it is essentially the same thing as the current month of supply. So what that means is that based on the frequency that homes are selling within a certain parameter, right? This, let's say in Cambridge High School, homes, let's say sell, there's been 60 home sales in the last 12 months. That means that in that high school district, there's 5 homes that sell a month. That's the stat. And then if there are 3 homes available, statistically speaking, 60% through the month, there's no more homes available. So if there were no new properties listed, how quickly would the current inventory go away? That's basically what an absorption rate is.
Yep. So this is basically what it is. I went back 1 month, so I can look at my price point. So say I'm listing a home that's 350. Well, let's say I'm listing a home for 360,000. I know that the average days on market, the average, or the recent sales in the past month were 8. The average days on market is 12 days. The sale price to list price is 99%. That's not that great in our market, right? Our market is looks more like this. And then that's detached sales. This is area 13, area 14, so it breaks it down by area for me. So I'll typically just print, I'll use my snip tool and I'll print whatever price point I'm looking in, and I'll have this with me for my listing appointment. Again, I don't.
With this report is that it just says months of inventory is 0. And I think sometimes going in and saying like, hey, we have 1.5 weeks of inventory, I think that's a little bit more powerful.
Exactly. And I won't always use this in a listing appointment. If somebody's detailed and they're asking a lot of questions, I'll definitely pull this out. If somebody has already given me signs that I've got the listing and they're done, I won't oversell. I won't just demonstrate how much knowledge I have. I'll be reading them and understanding that they're ready to sign and get it over with and get the home on the market.
Okay, can I add that too?
Yes,
Sorry,
please. No, thank you.
So how do we know what type of person we're dealing with, right? Is this an analytical person? Is this a aloof person? Is this somebody that's very detail oriented? Is this somebody who, just wants to have fun, right? Is this somebody who isn't so talkative, somebody that's very talkative, right? We ask questions, right? Are they giving short answers? Hey, how long have you lived here? We've lived here 3 months. And then there's silence. Okay, that's not a lot of detail. But I might ask somebody else, how long have you lived here? And they're like, well, we moved from this place, and then we went here, and then we went here, and then we went here, right? That's a different type of personality, and you have to be a kind of a chameleon and be able to serve that person the way they want to be served, right? Another good indication, I know there's issues with this, but I'll say it anyway, is if you know what the person does for a living, a lot of times you can figure out what type of personality they're going to be. If somebody is an engineer or a lawyer, they're going to want to see stats like this, right? If somebody is like an artist or something like that, they're going to want to know that report is in this stack over there, but they don't want you to bring it out. They just want you to tell them.
Exactly.
Right. So you got to kind of read your person a little bit to know, is this a person that's going to sit through a 45-minute presentation? Or does this person want to just smile and have fun and have a glass of wine while we have our listing appointment? By the way, when they bring out the wine on the listing appointment, it's pretty much a done deal.
And also, you can take clues from the house. Is the house really neat? Is when they show you their master closet, are the clothes lined up by color and length of sleeves? Or is the house, did you trip over the teddy bear on the way up the stairs?
Right.
So take clues from the house too.
Do they have things like, do they have a lot of like certificates and plaques and, deer heads and stuff on the wall, hole-in-one trophies? If so, they want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. It's up there for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is all of this are things that you kind of know, but it's just really being intentional about it. It's the shift from just noticing to being intentional about
Perfect.
About it. So.
Great.
So we're on to habit number 5. focus on professionalism. I can't say this enough. Impressions matter. Build a strong presence on social media. And I'm just going to say here, social media, we are in relationship with each other. So if I go on someone's site and it says right up front and center, Realtor at Keller Williams Realty Consultants, and they're posting something extremely offensive or controversial, it reflects on me. So we reflect on each other. So let's not have any politics. We can save those discussions for our little groups if we want to. No religion, no sexy or controversial images or posts. Just be personable, thoughtful, informative. That's the role of social media. We're there to provide value. And I know it's tempting for some people to use social media as a sounding board, but because we're in business for ourselves and we're in relationship with each other, it's really important to keep it PG, right?
Yeah, this is a real controversial topic, right? Bless you. And what I've said in here before is there is just about 100% chance that anybody that you're about to get into a professional relationship with is going to look you up. And if they like you, and then they look you up and they see that you voted for the other guy, or have controversial, you're spouting out controversial things, they may drop you, right? So I'm not necessarily here to tell you how to speak and what to say. You're free to post whatever you want, but understand that the public is free to make a decision on whether they want to work with somebody like that, right? So you can do whatever you want, but there's consequences for all of your behavior. You are now a public figure, like it or not.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I learned a lesson about that when I taught jazzercise. The minute you get up on stage, the minute you put yourself out there, you're free game for people to judge. And that doesn't mean that you live your life fearful of what people think, but we don't want to do anything. I mean, for instance, what I do is I go on people's pages and then I look at their friends and I look up their friends. And if somebody did that on my page and they saw one of my friends and my friend was posting, glamour shots or boudoir shots or posting angry things about the politics, that might reflect on me. So I just keep social media clean. Anyway, focus on professionalism. That's my goal. That's the habit to get into. All of you are doing that.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you recommend setting like a business Facebook page then instead of and then kind of linking it then to your personal, or just keep a personal and that's it?
I would recommend having both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because you have a business page doesn't give you free reign to be crazy on your personal page.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And a lot of times what I'll do is on my personal page, I show up as who I show up. So I post a gratitude every day on Facebook. And then sometimes I'll post things about real estate in my gratitude. But if I have something specific, like I'm going to post, and I be honest, I'm not active a lot on my business page, which is going to change. But if I'm going to post something like a listing or an informative video, I'll post that on my business page, and then I'll put on my personal page, hey, if you want more information about check this story team. So that's how I handle that. Mm-hmm. And then you can endorse others on LinkedIn, and you can write reviews for those in business that like right on their Google page, and you start to build a relationship with them that way too, because business owners, especially small business owners, read their reviews. Habit number 6 is social media, and we know now that content is king. You want to make it an essential part of your day if that's one of your lead gen strategies. But I know Leslie Peters says that she does 5, 5, and 5. That's 5 likes, 5 comments, 5 posts, 1 per day. And what she does is she'll pull up, and I'll just say this: you don't always see everything that your friends are posting because of Facebook's algorithm. So every once in a while, it's a good idea. This might be part of the DTD2s is to before you make a call to somebody or a text to somebody, pull up their actual page and see what they're posting. You'll be surprised. I mean, people are having all kinds of events and all kinds of, they're hiking in Sedona. They're doing all kinds of different things that doesn't show up on your feed because you only get the 300 top feeds that are most likely to be within the things you've liked before. So do that before you call them, and then you have something to talk about.
So you just got back from Florida. What was your favorite part of your vacation? Right?
Yeah,
You're building relationships.
exactly. And then keep a notebook or a record of ideas for blogs. You can either record. I record a lot on my phone when I'm driving, because that's sometimes when ideas happen. Or you can keep a notebook and some topic ideas for your blogs, or different videos that you can do, or how to hold a great garage sale. I've got an excellent blog that I wrote on that. I'm going to say it's excellent because it took me a long time and it's thorough. But anyway, it's how to profit from your garage sale. I'll be glad to share that. Curb appeal, housing trends, local events, the farmers market every Saturday morning in Alpharetta. Food truck alleys there now too. Local events, you can do your business interviews, recreation activities, this is one place where you can pool your email your database and say, hey, I'm looking for the best dog friendly areas in such and such, Roswell, Alpharetta, Cumming, and let them be engaged. Same for kid themed info. Who has free meals, fun activities, and again, survey your email list. You can also post testimonial pages, home maintenance ideas, share your story. People love to know why you got into real estate, how you got there. Property listings, local getaways, service recommendations. That's also another chance to email your database and say, who do you like as a painter? Who's the best plumber in the area? And get them involved.
And you're looking for people of influence, right? Let's say that you recognize that there's a really popular coffee shop in town or a really popular restaurant in town, right? Who's to say that you can't go and interview the owner and say, hey, I'd like to feature you on my Facebook Live or on my social media, or maybe I want to put a discount for a free cocktail or whatever in my newsletter, right? So you get into relationship with a person of influence. By the way, no other agents are doing that stuff, right? And then that message with you as a professional, well-connected real estate agent gets sent out to a new network. Now, all of a sudden, you have potential to meet people you don't know, right?
So it's 9:18. I want to be respectful of time. I can run quickly through the next 3 habits if you'd like for me to, or I can post this in the chat, your choice. If anybody wants to stay on, and if anybody wants to drop off, I'll post this in the PC help group again.
All right, real fast before anyone drops off, I should have done this at the beginning, and I apologize, but we do have a couple of new people to the group that are here today. So I'll make the announcement on where you are in my squares. Drew Patrick is in the top right corner. I don't know if he's in everyone's top right corner, but Drew Patrick is new to the office and new to PC, so let's welcome him. We also have La Cara. She's in my bottom left corner. She is been in real estate for a number of years, and she has made the move to KW Roswell and is now a part of our group, so congratulations. And then Fabiola is in the middle, third from the left. Somebody has to tell me if that's the case with all of us, but yeah. She is new. She is new to our market center and to productivity coaching as well. So let's make everyone feel welcome. You guys, you have
welcome, guys.
A big network of people that are here to help you grow and support you. And understand, please, that all the challenges that you're facing on a daily basis, we've been there before. So do not hesitate to ask questions. Candace and I, as well as the Market Center leadership and the people here, are ready to help you. So congratulations on your decision to join the team. All right, Candace, how do you want to move forward? Do you want to?
I'll just go really fast. Habit number 7 is never meet a stranger. Wear your name tag. They say don't be a secret agent. Start conversations by noticing something nice about somebody or a shared experience, like standing in line. You can say things like, what's your favorite? Don't be shy. Most people really want to be noticed, and you're flattering them. If you get somebody in a bad mood, don't worry about it, just move on. But if you're standing in line, you can say, hey, what's your favorite coffee here? What's your favorite drink here? And they might say, oh, the caramel macchiato latte thing. You know, then you say,
Right.
oh, well, I like blah, blah, blah.
Hey,
Go
how
ahead,
about soup? I'm seeing you buying some interesting soup. Is that good?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then if like you're at the grocery store, you can say, you know, I love your hair. Who does your hair? Your hair is just great. Or I love those shoes. Or your kid has the cutest little tennis shoes. Just anything is a conversation opener, but it's just make it positive. And then habit number, and there's book resources I wanted to give you. If you just Google how to talk to anybody books, there'll be a number that come up. Barbara Walters made one, oh, boy, I'm showing my age. Barbara Walters was she was like an Oprah, let's put it that way. But she interviewed a lot of business leaders and heads of state and so on. She wrote a book called How to Talk to Practically Anybody About Practically Anything. There's another one by Leal Lowndes, How to Talk to Anyone, 92 Little Tricks for Big Success in Relationships. So, but there's tons of books on how to talk to people. If that's something you struggle with, get one of those books. You can listen to them on Audible too. Habit number 8 is know your database. Not enough to have their name and their email and their phone number. We need to know what they like. For instance, I just had a text from one of my database who told me that he was taking Sunday off because he had told his fiance that he was going to fly to New York to watch the Dodgers game. But since that didn't happen, he was going to hole himself up in his cave and watch the Dodgers game. Well, guess what? I went right into command and made a note about the Dodgers because I'm going to make sure that I focus on sending stuff about the Dodgers as I touch him, or before I call. I'm going to look up how the Dodgers are doing, and then I'm going to have something to talk about. So
Hey, you just traded. What do you think about the big trade? Right? That was an awesome extra innings win last night, or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. So develop and stay consistent with the 36 touch plan. We'll get in more detail about that. And then I've heard this, which I love. What's it like to be in your tribe? What's it like to be in your database? Is it kind of where they're abandoned, or are they having fun because they know you, or are you providing value to them? So ask yourself that question and determine who you want to show up as the leader of your database. Comment and like your tribe's social media posts. And again, this is where I say you don't always see their posts, so open up their pages so that you can see what's going on with them. Call someone in your database and let you know you're thinking about them. You can say, I was thinking about you. You're so interesting. Why did you choose to live in da 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 da? Or what was when you moved to Atlanta? What was the reason for that? Or why did you decide to go into predictive analytics? Whatever it is that you know about them, just dig deeper, and then you can start asking the questions about using the Ford model, asking about family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Then you can ask them things like, what's your favorite place to go for, why don't we meet for lunch? What's your favorite place in Roswell? You start to get to know who somebody is. Add that to your command, add that to your notes about your database so that you can focus on that when you contact them. It makes it more personal. Habit number 9, I've talked about this a ton, the morning routine. Really important to prime yourself for a day filled with energy, excitement, and purpose. If we get up and we turn on the news, I can't tell you what that does. It's sending your subconscious a message of dread, maybe anger, maybe fear, because there's nothing on the news that it's always driven to drive their ratings. And the way they do that is by making things as dramatic as they can be.
Yeah,
So
the news story is about somebody getting a promotion.
right.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't watch it anymore. The only reason I ever watched it was for the weather anyway, and I can get that on my phone.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
There's no
And I
story
promise you,
Hey, Brittany had her first closing today. She's a real estate agent now.
yeah, not on the news. And the other thing I would say is that there's some ways you can get your morning going. These are tried and true ways. Start with prayer. You can start with meditation. You can do all of these or any of these. Review your goals. That's a real important one. I'd review my goals morning and evening before I go to bed, because I think I call them the girls in the basement, my subconscious. I want the girls in the basement working on solutions to get me to my goals, right? I practice my gratitude in the morning. I say mine to myself because I write it out in a post every day. But my gratitudes that I say in the morning are typically for the same things. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for what I get to do with you all. I'm grateful for, it's repetitive things that I say every morning because Those are my core gratitudes. And then my gratitude that I post on Facebook every day is something that's occurred to me during the day. You can journal in the morning. I know, Donna, you journal, right? She's nodding. Yep. Listen to a motivational video when you're getting dressed. Just put on just Google YouTube motivational videos. And I'll tell you, there's a ton of them, and they're almost all good. Some of them are a little bit more colorful in the language than others, but they're all good. So do that while you're brushing your teeth, while you're combing your hair. Reading, you can get up early enough to read a little bit, and also exercising is a great way to get primed and pumped. So build that habit. Habit number 10, this is one of the most important, is master communication. Call your client, and you talked a little bit about this, you and Liz, this morning, Bill. Call your clients before they start to wonder. Sometimes weeks can seem like a month. If you're working with a buyer and they're in the limbo of, where's my loan? Is it going to happen? Even if they know it's going to happen, it can still be stressful for them. So communicate with them and make sure to find out what kind of communication they prefer and how often. Answer your phone. Is it Jason Altman from the Millionaire TV show in LA? He says this. He's a top agent. He says you got to answer your phone. There's nothing more frustrating if you're a client, or even if you're a realtor and you call another realtor and they don't answer their phone and their voicemail's full. Oh, that's just like, really? Are you in business? So I would say, in addition to answering your phone, and if you can't answer, just send a quick text. I'll call you right back, so that they know that you heard them. Delete your voicemails each week. It's not enough to listen to them. You have to delete them nowadays, and they'll build up, and you won't know that your voicemail is full. So just check it each week. Words are powerful.
Just a quick note on that. I don't think I could give you the explanation. I think my assistant did this for me like 6 years ago, but you can get you can connect your voicemail to Google Voice, and then Google Voice basically becomes the default. So you can go through the Google Voice app and say, change your voice message for different scenarios, right? I'm not available from Friday night to Saturday night, so every Friday night or Friday afternoon, my assistant changes the voicemail for me, right? And that way, you can set it up where it can text you a transcribed version of the voicemail, so you can listen to the voicemail and save it, or they can email it to you. So, and then it takes their storage, it takes it off of your phone storage or whatever T-Mobile gives you or whatever, puts it onto their cloud. So my voicemail never backs up, and never fills up, and I always have a copy of every voicemail I've ever received.
Great tip. I love that. I love that. And this is probably one of the most powerful ones. Words are powerful. I'm big on choosing your words. We have things that words can indicate bias. There can be a statement that you've made 1,000,000 times and you don't realize how hurtful it is to another person. So make sure that you think before you speak and choose your words carefully. It's just one of the most important things you can do, because I might say something about, I don't even want to go there, but let's just say that be careful about what you say, and just realize that people are sensitive. And if you're on the phone, this is the last tip, and then you're gone. Smile when you're on the phone. Listen to this. Hi, this is Candace. How are you, Fabiola? I'm so glad to meet you. Versus, hi, Fabiola. This is Candace. I'm so glad to meet you. Did you hear the difference? People hear the difference. And if you're not in the habit of smiling, get yourself a mirror and put it in front of your phone and watch yourself on the phone and make sure you're smiling. And that's all I have for you for today. Those are
one thing that they taught us in Bold that I still have, or actually, I guess technically I don't have, but my old home office, I had a mirror in front of me while I was prospecting.
Yes.
Sure that I was continuing to smile, right? Even though you might get, hey, I hate realtors. Don't ever call me again. No, I'm not interested in you. Say, okay, thanks for your time, right? Today was really awesome. Great job, Candace. Thank you very much for all the time you invested to prepare for today. This is recorded as always and uploaded to the YouTube page. So if you are not subscribed and getting notifications, please do so. And you can rewatch this video because there's a ton of good content on here. Candace, thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything
Thank
else
you.
that you guys want to say before we sign off for the day?
Go get them.
Go get them. All right, guys, share your
Bye.
success.
Thanks.
Have a great
Have a
day.
great day.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Bye-bye.
Bye.